Almost as quickly as the coronavirus has spread around the world, conspiracy theories about the disease have been spreading too. Ridiculous claims about people like Bill Gates and even Dr. Anthony Fauci supposedly being behind the pandemic started popping up online, like in the viral video Plandemic, which has been banned from YouTube for promoting dangerous lies, including that wearing masks could somehow spread the virus, which of course it does not, so please wear a mask. Many of these conspiracy theories seem to come from social media accounts linked to the fringe movement QAnon, which gained notoriety with other moronic theories like Pizzagate, which falsely claimed there was a sex trafficking ring run by Hillary Clinton out of the basement of a D.C. pizza shop I've been to, by the way, and doesn't even have a basement. Then there are the conspiracy theories coming directly from the president, like the video he shared last night, featuring a doctor falsely claiming lockdowns and masks are not necessary because hydroxychloroquine cures the virus. And again, BS that goes against just about every scientific study. Donald Trump Jr., by the way, had his Twitter account restricted today for uploading a version of that same video. But this certainly isn't the first misinformation to come from the man in the Oval Office, who's become known as conspiracy theorist in chief. And as a new documentary from Frontline explains, a lot of Trump's craziest theories actually come from this guy.
It is surreal to talk about issues here on air and then word for word hear Trump say it 2 days later.
The film, United States of Conspiracy, traces the rise of misinformation back to the early days of Alex Jones's career, a man who you may know from the completely made-up and dangerous claims that the government put chemicals in the water to turn people, and frogs, by the way, gay, that it manipulates weather to cause natural disasters, that Bob Mueller's a pedophile, and that the Sandy Hook massacre, in which 20 young kids and 6 adults were murdered, was a hoax, and that they were all actors. When Jones first started, he did his InfoWars radio show out of his home in his daughter's bedroom. For the record, I'm also doing this show at home in my daughter's bedroom, but that's where the similarities end. I'm joined now by director, writer, producer of this great film, Michael Kirk. Michael, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome, Jim.
You know, as I said, the focus is in great part on Alex Jones. You say started late-night dude radio, as I think you call it. I love that term. But you specifically focus on the Alex Jones, Roger Stone, Donald Trump axis. How did that come to be, Michael?
I think Alex Jones, over the years, started with really 9/11 and moving up through Newtown, had accumulated an audience of exactly the kind of people Roger Stone, as an operative for Donald Trump, wanted. He wanted Rand Paul kind of voters, young white males, not college educated, truck drivers, bus drivers, taxi drivers, those kind of people who love Alex Jones and his website, millions of them. Stone decided by 2015 that one way he could get Donald Trump to the White House was if he could capture Alex Jones' audience.
And then Trump ended up on InfoWars, and the rest, obviously, is 4 years of very interesting history. I mentioned in the beginning, Michael, that maybe the most notorious, and I would argue one of the most painful, is the Sandy Hook thing, false flag actors. And Alex Jones has also let loose his dogs on the families of young people who were murdered there. Noah Posner, for example. You interviewed his father, Lenny, and here's just a little bit of what his father had to say.
Anything they can do to trigger trouble in my life, they have done. I got a call from someone, and I had just moved into a new apartment. He read me the address that I had just moved into, and he read me my Social Security number.
You're going to die, you mother... You bastard.
Obviously having to disguise his identity and his whereabouts because of these trolls, these very dangerous trolls. But in this case, Jones was actually sued. Did that chasten him at all, or is it just a blip on the screen?
The wonderful thing about being a conspiracy theorist, Jim, is that when you finally are nabbed by either a government investigation, you're deplatformed by the big major tech sites, anything that happens to you, sued by presidents, you can blame it on the deep state. You can say, this is getting even with me for my assisting Donald Trump in getting elected president. I was never sued before. Now I'm being sued. This proves to me and his audience that the deep state is after him, that the liberals are coming to get him, and it builds his own cachet with his own audience.
Okay, the $300 million question, why do people believe this? You have video of this man from North Carolina, a young guy, driving on his way to Comet Ping Pong Pizza. I told you today on the radio, I was there with my coworkers, a place where this guy goes, and in a packed restaurant, in an attempt to liberate kids who don't exist, who are being abused and raped by Hillary Clinton and her allies, again, and they don't exist, fired 2 shots that could have killed people. Why did he and why do people like him believe this lunacy, Michael?
Truth in America is malleable now. Where do you go to find out the truth? If you're a guy like Edgar Madison Welch, that gentleman, you listen to Roger Stone and Alex Jones a lot of the day, and after a while it all makes a kind of sense in a way that it didn't before. He goes in, he shoots the place up, he gets arrested, and what he says to a New York Times reporter who's out there is, I guess the intel on this wasn't 100%, right? These are people who come to believe and act on what is being promulgated by Jones and others.
You know, I watched and then rewound and watched some of the images of Alex Jones, including him breaking down into tears or rage on a dime on his set. You interviewed a number of former producers and co-workers of his. Were you able to draw a conclusion if this is real or an illusion? Is he the actor that he accuses others of being?
This is the fundamental question about people like Alex Jones. Does he believe anything? Is it shtick or is it real, and is it just overstated in lots of ways? I think there is a basic belief that people like Alex have that resonates with viewers and listeners. That is that the globalists, the big government people are, doing things that harm us, take away our civil liberties, our rights, our guns, or whatever. That he falls back on that all the time. But the histrionics, the larger-than-life assertions, the insisting that people go investigate for themselves. He calls people from his audience citizen investigators. Go to that Comet Pizza place and find out for yourself. I can't really know. What he sees himself as is what he calls a super spreader. He spreads the information, and people all the way from the man who drove there to shoot the place up and the President of the United States listen, believe. It forms a kind of basis of a worldview that we discovered in our research, in our interviews, and pulling this all together is an increasingly powerful thing that's happening to our politics. From the fringes with Alex Jones around 2001 to the Oval Office now is a terrifying prospect and says a lot about our politics today.
When you say it says a lot about our politics, I think that people who are troubled about how dangerous this is worry because, as you say, people don't believe in truth anymore. They doubt the mainstream media, the most credible media in huge numbers. Is this a function of the time of Trump, or is Trump so marbled into the American landscape that this exists long after Trump is but a distant memory?
It began before Trump. It was rolling along. The great thing about Donald Trump is he knows he's got a tuning fork. It's hard to use these two words together, but he's a kind of political genius about these things. And he knows what's happening. And I think he tapped in and maximized it. And now that we know it works, and other politicians and other political figures, both in the Republican and in the Democratic Party, they know this is a thing they can use. This is now a new tool in American politics. And the only question left is who will use it and who won't.
Michael, your film is both terrific and terrifying. Congratulations yet again. It's good to see you.
Thanks, Jim.
You can watch Frontline's United States of Conspiracy, and you should, tonight at 10, right here on WGBH2, or stream online now at pbs.org/frontline.